All right, John, you had some questions.
I tell you what, can we do one other thing? Could I have you move and have her sit where you are, because that grate's right behind it. I don't want to show it.
You want, now
How
what?
about that? This
Me
lady
to,
sit.
You don't want to shoot you with the grate behind you.
oh,
Always looks
well.
like you're cleaning up after the...
Yeah, you need to move down because I don't need to get in the picture.
That's
Why
good.
not?
Because you're the star. Well, not me.
You're telling about her.
One of the things to think about is that since you've made a change in the band and sort of direction of your music, the people that have loved you for so long are the people really that came here tonight. Because the people that will become more aware of you as you change your music somewhat haven't really been built up as long as the people have who were here tonight. Do you think that was true?
Oh, I think it's definitely true, but you see, a lot of the distortion and a lot of the comments that's been going on through the years not been mostly me, you know, a lot of stuff. Because I don't think I'm doing rock and roll, do you? I think my show is really country. I mean, I do some things that are not as country, and some of them are, you know, a little bit, you know, pop, but not rock and roll, a little bit, you know, pop flavored. But I love the country fans, and the true fans ain't going to betray me anyway. I like to think my fans like me as a person, and I enjoy the fans and I enjoy the music. But as a business person and as a writer and a singer and an entertainer, I like to think that I can take my music wherever it wants to go, and I just want to touch as many people and touch as many lives as I can, and make as much money as I can while I'm in the business, because you're not hot in this business forever. And I've seen so many of my friends starve to death and turn into alcoholics and dope addicts because they couldn't get something going after they'd had a hot streak, which they didn't try to, you know, protect their money and that sort of thing. So I'm really trying to use some business sense and try to, you know, use my talent in as many areas as I can. So I don't think I've betrayed anything, and I love the fans, and I'll always be coming around to these areas. You know, like I say, if I should ever get so famous that we couldn't house all the people, you know, in a small building like this, I'll still work in, you know, in the cities. We just have to find a bigger place for it. But we didn't have a full house tonight, so I didn't have to worry about that this trip.
Well, a lot of very good people have not had full houses here, but the people that were here were there to see them. There was no
Well, you
doubt
see,
about it. So
I
there's
don't,
that too.
right, I don't mind playing to a house not full if the crowd is good, because the ones that do come to see it, and I would play just as long, work just as hard if I had 30 people or 3,000, because that's just the way I've always worked, because they pay good money to come, and so, you know, it's my goal to entertain the people that see me, at least to try.
You seem very relaxed on stage, yet utterly professional. And it's a nice combination because no one feels, I don't think in the audience, that you're trying to be Dolly Parton. And you come across so very well, sophisticated yet simple in the sense of unpretentious. I think people enjoy that.
Well, that's a nice compliment, because, you see, when I go out there, I don't go out there to lay a bunch of bull on the sensible people with all the good common sense. I know country people. I am country people. And I know my family and the people I grew up with, they are the smartest people that I've ever known as far as common sense. And you can see, I can see through a phony person in a minute. So when I go out to sing, I go out to try to entertain them. But I don't go out to try to appear to be above them. It's just that I am a singer, and this is how I make my living. If they call me a star, then that's, you know, what I try to be. But I don't try to be that by being phony. And if I shine, it's with my own natural kind of light. I mean, I'm a gaudy, outrageous person as far as my appearance, and I enjoy that.
I was going to say that I think I heard you or read where you talked, and you think like a lot of people do, that people want to see a star dress up. If you would go out there in the gown, you know, in your slippers and curlers, it would not be the same kind of thing. So people seem to enjoy having a star dress up.
Well, I don't know. I like to think so. I know I always did. And that don't mean that you can't go out there dressed any way you want to and still do great, because there's a lot of people that just wear blue jeans and shirts that's got more talent than I'll ever have. But I just always like flashy things, pretty clothes. And I really do think that people enjoy seeing you dressed up in costume. They might enjoy your music just as much either way, but there's just a flair or a flash
It's
about
exciting.
Yeah, You know, little
Visually
kids. I
exciting.
always think of the little kids in the audience. In fact, I know when I
How
was
they
little,
like to do
yeah,
that
when I was
sometimes.
little, I was just so fascinated with everything that glittered and shined and sparkled. I mean, that was a real star. I mean, everybody was a movie star or rich. Of course, we were so poor, anybody with a clean house was rich to us. But there's so many of us kids, so I'm just saying anything that was pretty. I love perfume and I love jewelry, and when people would come around that had long nails with polish and lipstick, I mean, I would just stare and gaze. But you see, now that I can have those things, I guess it kind of goes back to that little girl part of me. I enjoy it. I like to make up. I like to wear flashy clothes, and I love bright colors and that sort of thing. So when I go out there, I like to think that they're enjoying seeing me jump around with my sparkles as much as I like to think they enjoy the music.
They do.
I think they do
I
too.
think
But you
for
see,
sure.
another thing I enjoy, see, I like to be in costume. It makes me feel like a star on stage. It makes me feel fancy and, you know, pretty, or not that I think I'm pretty, but I just feel real feminine and real, you know, I just feel glamorous, I guess, in all this garb.
Let me ask you a couple more questions, and if I can ask you one more time to move down that way some, because that plate's there, and you really want to do a good job. Now, if you could sort of look at her and talk some while I ask you.
So, I said to this old boy that I was dancing with, I said, you step on my foot.
You've written a lot of songs. Can you describe to us what it's like for you to write? Like, you think of melodies first, or you think of experiences you've had, or words, or a phrase, or what is it like for you to write a song?
Well, I'm a writer that writes totally from inspiration. I get my inspiration from a lot of things, a lot of people. But I write the melody and the words at the same time.
That's unusual, though, isn't it?
Well, it is for a lot of people. In fact, I don't know of a lot of people that do that. Most people write the words and then they work on the melody. But it falls for me that way because, like I say, as an inspired writer, I've got an idea in mind and I just start singing words. But now sometimes I'll hear a phrase or think of a good title, a good punchline, and I'll work hard to make the verses as good as maybe the line.
Well, your new song that you, here we go, here you come again.
Here you come again.
That's quite a good song.
Thank you, but I didn't write that.
Well, now there was one song that you sang that almost had a bump tune.
Oh, it's Two
bump
Doors
beat.
Down. I
It
wrote
was
that.
That
one.
was
real
good. That
good.
was- yeah.
Why didn't you release
Well,
that
it
as a
probably
single?
will be a single. See, when we put out the album, we hoped that we'd have 4 singles out of this album. So there's a good, strong possibility that Two Doors Down will be a
That's a
single.
very
off the
strong
album.
song.
Good.
I like it a
It's
lot.
just really a real
Real toe tap.
singable kind
Now
of
that's
song.
something that could go AM top 40.
Yeah. But
And there were a couple of other songs that you did tonight that I thought would easily blend into that without even striving to fit. That it
Or
would
to
just
change
be
your
a real
style that much.
natural
Yeah, we see-
transition.
when I go there, it won't be that much of a style change. In fact, Here You Come Again is as far-fetched as I will get. Because, I mean, that is, to me, a real pop sounding song.
Mhm.
It is.
Now, it's
The
got
arrangement and
country
stuff
lyrics
is-
and stuff. Yeah, we did that on purpose because I wanted to get something that would be liked in the country field too, because the song is a love story, and the piano and things. I mean, it ain't like hard rock, but it has that sound of top 40. And like I say, I'll be honest in saying that I've made a statement that I'm going to cross over, and I will. But I will go there as myself, and all I needed was the record that would get me there and to be accepted and for people to be
And to
aware
go
of the
on
fact
both
that
charts.
I could, that I could do other things. Once I do that, then I'll try hard to keep good material to where that my songs can be #1 country and #1 pop. There's
So the
nothing
people
wrong
that
with
really
that.
like you will go with you. The people that are
Oh,
only
sure.
interested in a kind of musical idiom or genre, they're going to stay there anyway.
Yeah,
Like
that's
the people that are
true.
country do or die, if you put on anybody other than Merle Haggard, they don't want it. Well,
But you know,
that sort of limits you a lot.
it does, but like I say, I don't put limitations on myself, so I don't think it's fair for anybody to put them on me. But I will always, once I get, established the way I want to be, then I can always go back and do songs as simple, and will, and have, as Dakota Many Colors. And me and Little Andy is on the new album, Cowgirl and
You
the
were,
Dandy. That's
that
kind
was
of,
well done voice.
Thank you.
Because it's hard to do that when you're watching a person pretend, you know, rather than hearing it on the record, but it was just as convincing seeing you do it
Really?
as it was just to hear
Well,
it.
that's
'Cause
good.
you-
But
you
see,
did
that's a
good
real
job.
country kind of a song, you know, that dreadful sorrow,
Mm-hmm.
orphan child kind of thing. But you see, I think country music has got its own class, and I just think people don't quite know what to call. I think you just have to say to categorize it as traditional country, and you know, and country from the last, you know, few years. But I like the old traditional country, and like I say, I'll always go back and do those. But first, I've got to carry through with this business move that I have made, and with my music, I cannot let my music suffer because of a few bad remarks
Or die-hard
some
fans.
misunderstandings.
Yeah, but a lot of bad remarks that you'll probably get. Some is blatant hostility, and others flat out jealousy, and others is a
misunderstanding.
lot of
mostly, I
different
think.
reasons that people, some press just are dying to come out with something striking and different, and will print any kind of comment. It would probably be difficult to ignore that and to keep on going in what you know you want to do.
That's true. And you know, a lot of people say, and for years, you know, I just did, you know, the country things, and traveled around with poor lighting, poor sound, worked 250 days a year, killed myself for a little money.
Mhm.
And my songs were, you know, my ideas were so much bigger than that. And I got to thinking, well, if I'm going to kill myself
Might as well
in
do
this
it
business,
right.
I might as well make some money from it too. And I might as well take it to other areas. But now I hear some people, even some of my very close friends, that are, you know, that enjoy a certain amount of success, but they say, well, it's only the music. I'm not changing. I'm not going to do this. I'm not adding no class. I'm not going to dress up. I'm not going to do nothing. And I'm not going to work up no show. I don't want no phony things in my show. I'm not going to think up nothing to say. Well, you see, they're really cheating the people. And they're going nowhere, really. And, you know, so if you're that faithful to something that's going to be a failure anyway, you know, that's your problem. But to me, I'm going to try to be faithful to the things that I think can take me where I want to go. I left the Smoky Mountains thinking that I could go anywhere in this world I wanted to go and stand there with the best of them and the worst of
You're
them.
doing a good job.
So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to use some sense with my talent.
Now, is there any truth to the comment that I read somewhere that you wanted to maybe get into film?
No, I never wanted to be an actress, but I probably made the statement that I would like to do, you know, when people ask me if I'm going to. So
Yeah.
finally I just said, you know,
Why not?
if I do, it will be like a comedy film, or I just signed a contract with Bantam Publications for my stories and my poetry and things I've been writing for years. See, I'm a very serious writer in addition to the songs, and I have a book that will be out in 18 months to 2 years called Wildflowers, and they're talking about a movie about
yeah,
it
that's
already.
good.
So I have written a character in there that I can play. So I would like to do something with something I had written, or maybe to do a comedy thing. Other than that, I have no desire to be in the movies. Never did want to be a movie star. I just want to be a star.
Excuse me, I have one last question. What would you say it's like for a woman to try to make it in business today, say maybe versus 10 years ago?
I
You
think
it's
it'd
harder,
be
the same,
much
or-
easier, much
Oh,
easier
yeah.
these days. Women have made a statement like I made, but and then they have stood by it. So you know they can march right in and do things where it used to. If you sat in somebody's office, they either thought you were there to go to bed or that you were willing to, and most of them were. Not most, but a lot of them. But when I went to Nashville, I thought, well, if I can't make it on my talent and myself as a person, then I don't need it. If I went to bed with somebody, it would certainly be by choice, not because I was trying to get somewhere in the business, you know, that sort of thing. But I think it's much easier these days for women to do anything business-wise.
Thanks.
Thank you.